Jets fans. What a year, huh? What a year we are having as a collective. I have to say, I love you guys more and more as the weeks just melt away, slip through our lives. All we have is each other. No matter who is here, whether it's Garrett Wilson, Brashad Perryman, David Clowney, Richie Anderson, Jeremy Curley, doesn't matter who it is, we're still right here. Doesn't matter Leon Hess, Woody Johnson, Chris Johnson, Woody Johnson back again, Joe Douglas, Mike McCagnon, I don't know, Idzik, Tannenbaum, Steinberg, Bradway. Here we are, right? We're here. We're the constant. And I thank you for hanging out with me. Today I am Green Bean, and this is episode 100 and what is it? 140? 140. Episode 140 of Green Bean's Jets Pod. Here we are. And it's a grim situation, but you can make it a little bit better by hitting those milk thumbs for me. Go ahead and give me that thumbs up button. It's important. It lets YouTube know that, you're not hating me. That's really what it's about. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. We're right around the mountain to 12,000 subscribers. It would be fantastic to get us over that milestone. We can only do it with your help. So thank you to all of you guys for your support. I do appreciate it a great deal. And it's just about us, man. It's like when everybody leaves, when these players are gone and these coaches are gone and we're yelling about some other guy, it's still going to be, we're just going to be here. We're like we're the kid, we're left at the dance. Everybody goes out. We're still right here. We're just here. So it's important that we stay together. We stay as a unit. We argue, we like our points of view. We all disagree on what the problems are every year. We disagree on who's good, who's not, and all that jazz. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't remove the point that Jets fans, we have a pain all our own. Okay, we have a pain all our own. I've been saying this for a long time. I routinely get into these, let's call them debates, discussions, maybe. About what fan base has it the worst. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I've told you before. I'm going to say it again. No one has it like we have it. The pain. Sure, Cardinals fans, they have a tough time over there. Cleveland Browns fans, they've never won a championship. The Detroit Lions, of course, there are brethren, right, in pain. But they don't have the butt fumble, the fake spike, and now we get a new one on the anniversary of the fake spike, which, interestingly enough, I was at the fake spike, and now I'm at the Fail Mary. The Fail Mary, dude. What is this madness? It's an interesting thing with what we go through. We talked a lot this past offseason about the Jets curse, right? How we believe as Jets fans that our general manager, head coaches, they should prepare for the Jets curse. They should prepare to have Murphy's Law set in. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. You have to be prepared for that. This year, it seemed like our GM coming into this year was learning that, right? We were kind of bolstering things, but I got to admit, as much of a Joe Douglas supporter as I've been up to this point, I did not love this offseason. Didn't love it. Yes, Aaron Rodgers was kind of the creme de la creme, the big move, right? The crown jewel. So that's a big one. And you can understand why it would take up a lot of the mind space, a lot of our time and all that. But I didn't like the draft. I didn't like free agency. I didn't like the way we just kind of ignored the offensive line. Sure, we brought in guys like Tristan Colon and Wes Schweitzer, and we re-signed Connor McGovern for a beautiful contract as far as, from the Jets cap standpoint, from that perspective. But he was kind of an afterthought. Like we weren't planning on bringing him back. And we just did. He's like, yeah, I'll take $1 million. So sure. Come on back for $1 million. But I didn't like, even when we got Aaron Rodgers, like not having that number 2 quarterback. I did not want, if anything happened, to fall back to 2022's quarterback. I didn't want to do that because it was miserable last year. So we have this whole thing this year where, once again, they did not prepare for the worst case scenario. And there was an idea about Aaron Rodgers putting the Jets' curse to bed. We finally have a Hall of Fame level quarterback who's playing well. He's revitalized the organization, the franchise. He was out on the town, him and Sauce Gardner, they're best friends, and everybody's happy. He looks great everywhere. He handled the New York media, the New York nightlife, Taylor Swift, everything was beautiful. And the Jets curse just let us believe, let us have all that. And everybody was talking their smack to dude, we got to stop. We can't talk about the Jets curse that way. You can't. You have to honor it. It's like the volcano god. You go, hey, maybe the volcano god hasn't destroyed our village in a long time, but you still don't make fun of him. You still don't go, he's sleeping, he sucks, he's dead. You go up there and you drop your watermelons and your mangoes or whatever the hell your sacrifice, your virgins, whatever you got to do to the volcano god. That's what you do. You just keep it. He's been quiet. Let's keep it that way. That's what we got to do with the curse. That's how we must treat it. We cannot boast in the face of the curse because the curse let us have one of the most beautiful, potent moments in Jets history. On September 11th, the lights went down. Everybody had their wristbands on. The place was packed. Packed. The green lights are flickering. The fireworks are going off. And here he comes, Aaron Rodgers with the American flag in the spotlights. And it was like, oh my God, this is really happening. The Jets curse just said, it is. It's real. It's real. Enjoy, everybody. I'm taking a break. I'm going to let you guys have a moment in the sun. 4 plays later, the Jets curse said, no, I'm still right here. I'm pissed. And I'm going to show you what it's really like. Now, remember last time with Brett Favre, the last time we did this, right? Brett Favre, what happened? We were 8-3. At least he let us get into the season and dream, the Jets curse did. But we were 8-3, I believe it was. We ended up 9-7 because he tore his bicep or his pec, one or the other. And they never said anything about it. They let him play it out. But what about that? What about the Jets? What about before that? Chad Pennington. That was our last legit franchise level quarterback that we brought in here, especially from a draft perspective. Sanchez, you can make the argument, but I don't think so. Chad was a serious quarterback. He was legit. And it was 2 torn shoulders and a broken wrist. And I mean, it just kept going, injury after injury, just kept stealing Chad from our lives. So they cut him and they bring in the Hall of Fame Brett Favre. What happens? Brett Favre tears a muscle, ruins the season, and Chad Pennington wins the division for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, you just, a pain our own. Who else has that? Who else has this? Nobody. I can go on and on, I mean, don't even get me started on broken jaws and broken necks and all the serious stuff. It's brutal. Coaches quitting on the day we announced that they're going to be the head coach. Oh, it's brutal. So, hey, I went to the game this week, everybody. Now, the first ever Black Friday game, right? We played the division Miami rivals, right? Miami Dolphins. And from my era, it was Jets-Miami was the real rivalry within the AFC East. Yes, there were the Patriots, the Bills, and for a long time, the Colts. And they were rivals, no doubt. But the real one when I was growing up was Jets-Miami. And even though the Bills kind of had that period of time where they were the dominant team and they went to 4 straight Super Bowls, losing all 4, Yes, that was a rivalry too, similar to like the Patriots when they dominated. But it was the Jets, Miami. They always played each other well. It was all these shootouts, Marino, O'Brien, all this stuff. Jets, Miami was a big one. Back to the Mud Bowl and all that. So here we are, Jets, Miami, first game of the season against our division rivals. They come in with the number one offense. We come in with this vaunted defense that really got kind of the week before is when they started to crack. And we have no offense. We're starting Tim Boyle. And, hey, I went. I bought tickets in the excitement earlier of the year. You know, the excitement of the early 2023 season. I said, yeah, I'm going to go spend Thanksgiving up there in New York, New Jersey with my family. Go watch the Jets on Black Friday. Yeah, this is a great plan. Well, here's what I got out of it. Something that I'll probably never hang up because it's just brutal. I'll save it, but this is what we got. Everything else, I got nothing else. This is what they gave away. You know, we got the towels, which is nice. You see, I got towels from all my... Usually it's opening day we get our towels, but they gave us a towel because it's the Black Friday game and whatever. I'm not hanging that up. It's a stark reminder of the Fail Mary and an atrocious game. Now, let's take a look real quick at this game, if we may. Let's just quickly touch on the stats. So, interestingly enough, the final score was 34-13. But the Jets defense, they've got 243 yards in the air. That's not anything to complain about as far as statistically standing. We got 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Rushing's where they got us, 167 yards. But it's like, the defense wears down. Like, we were about to go into the half 10-6 because the inability to get the point after these past few weeks has been something else. That's another, like, what is that, right? What is that? What team has that issue? Well, we do. So the defense they hold Miami to 10 points in the first half. 10 points. But they also give the offense 6. So really it's a net deficit of 4. It should have been 3, right? If they could just kick the damn extra point. So a net deficit of 4 points. And then it comes, the Fail Mary. And I venture to say, I would be willing to bet it was the Fail Mary that was the gut punch, the kind of the deflator, the pin in the tube. Because the defense gives us 2 interceptions to close out the half, and the offense gives us the Fail Mary. The defense, 2 interceptions, 1 is a pick 6. The offense gives us the Fail Mary and goes net deficit of 1 from the offense. Like our defense gave us 6, the offense gave them 7. You can't make it up. Tim Boyle proving that obviously Zach Wilson's an impressive quarterback, right? That's an interesting narrative that I see floating around right now, is that the fact that Tim Boyle sucks is an indicator that Zach Wilson wasn't the problem. I don't know. Now, if that was even anybody, if that was Jacoby Brissett, if that was Gardner Minshew, if that was Teddy Bridgewater, and it looked like Tim, okay, now you got an argument, right? You got if Josh Johnson, Mike White, whoever. If you have that and it's one of those guys, you have an argument. But Tim Boyle, is there a single Jet fan? Leave this in the comments. Is there a single Jets fan that was one single Jets fan that was excited about the Tim Boyle signing and thought that he would be a viable number 2 quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers, maybe even in front of Zach Wilson? Did anybody think that Tim Boyle was here for any other reason than to help with the install of the offense? Did anybody think that? Was anybody excited about bringing in one of the worst college and NFL quarterbacks ever to be our guy? So that's, you gotta remember, that's who we're talking about here. But we're going to get into this a little bit. Talk about this Zach Wilson character because the narrative is interesting. We'll get a couple more team stats. So the Dolphins were 11 for 16 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, which was big. They did it right down there in the red zone, trying to rub our face in dog turds and show us we don't respect you. You can't stop us. You got to give McDaniel the nod for having sack, right? Yeah, man, have some balls. Put it in your team's hand. You got number one offense in the league. Why wouldn't you do it, right? But we held them. We held them to 0. Nothing. They got no points on that drive. The Jets, on the other hand, were 5 for 14, so just a tick over 1/3, 35% or so. Oh, it's a funny thing. We were also 2 for 3 on third down. Not bad there. On fourth down, I should say. Fourth down efficiency, 2 for 3 for the New York Jets. Now, again, a lot of that's garbage time and stuff like that. You know how it goes. Total plays, 55 to 69, Jets and Dolphins respectively. We gave up 7 sacks, and the Dolphins beat up O-line, gave up 2 to our vaunted pass rush. You can see it. You can see it. The defense just, they're playing, but it's got to be tough on them to know it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter. Evidenced by the Hail Mary as at the tip of the, it's like at the spear point. It's like, it wasn't always that bad, but that's what they're getting. They give you 6 points. They steal the ball again to stop Miami from getting points before the half. And what do? You give them 7. It's crazy. Crazy. 6 punts for the Jets to 1 for the Dolphins. 1 punt. Oh, my God. It's a funny thing. So, once again, the lopsided time of possession, 35-41 for the Dolphins, 24-19 for the New York Jets. And, guys, it's an ugly situation with this offense. But let's talk about Zach Wilson. Just to get into a few players, though. Again, Tua had 243 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So we did a decent job there, right? Tua, whatever. But the Tim Boyle character went 27 for 38 for 179 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Breece Hall, 7 carries for 25 yards. Breece Hall, interesting. He had 7. He also had 7 catches, so he had 14 touches, a grand total of 49 yards. Not much. Brownlee got into the action, 2 catches. Garrett Wilson still had 7 catches, 44 yards. Had a pretty bad drop, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. But guys, it's one of those things. It's this offense is as anemic gets. You heard Garrett Wilson's comments this week, which was, I don't have anything else to say to you. I don't have anything else to say. What am I going to say? I'm going to give you some sound clip. We're going to back to the drawing board. We're going to get it right. We've been saying that for a month. Nothing's happened. We've gotten worse. This is the worst Jets offense that we've ever seen. And it didn't matter, Zach or Tim Boyle. It doesn't matter at this point. Both of them are hot garbage, right? So where we stand right now, and the offensive line and the play calling and the receiver job and passes, we're benching guys we gave $11 million a year to just a few months back. It's crazy for the New York Jets. You never could have imagined that it would be this bad. Going from legit Super Bowl hope for us as a fan base, legitimate Super Bowl hope, to arguing about whether or not we want to fire the whole lot of them, scrap the Aaron Rodgers thing, just who cares? Eat the cash and start over. That's what a lot of Jets fans are clamoring for right now. And I can't say I don't understand. I don't agree with that necessarily. But no matter how you slice it, Super Bowl aspirations to where we are now is an unbelievable, unpredictable turn of events. Even the NFL, with the script, right? We talk about the NFL script. I don't think the scriptwriters had any plans for this. Having the first ever Black Friday game, 34-13 with an anemic Jets offense that can't do anything. They were not planning on this one, man. We even can impact that. If there is a script, they didn't count for this. They didn't account for any of this stuff. But so we're going to talk about Zach Wilson today because why not? Zach Wilson. Are the Jets ruining Zach Wilson? And for that, let's get into the intelligent gripe. Joe Alt. J.C. Latham. Which one of these offensive tackles do you think the Jets will bring in? Because that's kind of where we are right now as a result of this offense. This offense. Remember in the training camp period of time where Sean Payton said that what he took over in Denver was the worst coaching job in NFL history? And we all said, oh my God, a little dramatic, aren't we? Well, the fact that we now have that coach who did that, and we're looking at the worst offense in Jets history, which is not an easy task, I don't know, man, it kind of makes you think. So we have this guy, this Zach Wilson, who's just, no matter how you slice it, was a high pedigree, right? Number 2 overall pick. I would be willing to bet that if the Jets didn't take him, or if the Jets were willing to trade out with the Niners like the Dolphins did, that there's a very good chance I'd be willing to bet that the Niners wanted Zach Wilson. That's the guy they wanted in that draft. So it's not like Joe Douglas is a bum, right? He wanted a new quarterback. Sam Darnold was damaged goods. As evidence, I mean, he had 2 years in Carolina. He was garbage outside of the first 2 weeks. He's a backup quarterback now. So it's not to say that he made a wrong move with Sam Darnold. He brings in Zach Wilson. Clearly, every quarterback after Trevor Lawrence is struggling, to say the least, from that draft class. So, you know what I mean? It's just, you can't blame the GM for taking the best quarterback on the board in some respects, even though me personally, I was not on board with taking him. I would have traded out from that number 2 pick without question. I would have been on the phone. I would have had a for sale sign in front of my building. That's the truth. And I would have been the one that got 3 firsts and a third for the number 2 pick to go back to 12. And I would have taken Justin Fields or whoever was there if I wanted to. Maybe I waited till the second and took Kyle Trask because I had all those guys kind of lumped together in many respects. The Mac Jones, Kellen Mond's, Kyle Trasks of the world. I think Kellen Mond might have been the next draft. No, he was that draft. So I had them all kind of chunked up, bunched up there. So I could have just taken any of them, and it would have been the same result as we're getting now, right? So the thing is, Joe Douglas catches a lot of heat for this Zach Wilson pick. And no matter what happens, we've had 2 offensive coordinators now. We've had myriad offensive linemen, which is not a good thing, right? We know that. But different wide receiving casts and, Aaron Rodgers in here. It doesn't matter what happens around this guy. When he can't play well, there's seemingly a reason for it, right? Within the Jets organization. So let's explore that. Did the Jets ruin this kid? Or did he suck from the get-go? Now, again, I was on the side. I didn't like him as a prospect. I didn't hate him. I was fine with the Jets taking him if that's what they wanted to do. I said, it's a new organization. If that's what they want, then I support it, right? Rooted my ass off for him. And he's definitely given us some exciting flashes, moments where you go, ooh, man, if this kid could just get it together. The problem is he can't. But the built-in excuse thing is interesting. So the Jets, we get this rookie offensive coordinator. We have Mike LaFleur. Should a rookie offensive coordinator who's never done it before be in charge of a rookie quarterback? I don't know. It's not the first time in the world. We saw Dable. Well, he was the first-time head coach, but, and then you had Kafka, he's a first-time offensive coordinator, right? So they had Daniel Jones, got Daniel Jones $40 million. So I don't know. I mean, it is who knows what you, maybe not the best, but one thing that we have to remember is that when we drafted Zach Wilson, we had a guy named Greg Knapp who was tragically taken from us and the world, his family, of course, more importantly than us. But as far as the team is concerned, Greg Knapp is a certified quarterback guru. I mean, many quarterbacks, including Peyton Manning, say my career trajectory was altered positively by Greg Knapp. I mean, he's undeniable. Like, Gase was called a guru. He was no friggin' guru. Greg Knapp's a different story. So that's why he was here. And then he wasn't, suddenly. So there's a lot there. But, you had the Mike LaFleur thing. You had, wide receivers that, whatever. Maybe not good. You had all the injuries on the offensive line. Becton, AVT goes out. We had a whole bunch of a cast of tackles over the past couple of years. So, Zach Wilson has not had the comfort of a stable offensive line throughout the entirety of his career. He hasn't. He's had myriad wide receivers, right? So, I mean, look at him. What did he have his first year? Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. And here we are this year. Both of those guys aren't here. And everybody in between, from Denzel Mims, Mecole Hardman, Randall Cobb. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, the different guys that we bring in and out of this place. It's like having Garrett Wilson for 2 years is like, oh, well, that's refreshing. And that's if he doesn't ask to be let out of this cage that is the New York Jets. You bring in a second. So everybody said it was Mike LaFleur. So you go out, you get rid of him, and you bring in a whole new offensive staff, wide receivers coach, running backs coach, offensive line coach, passing game coordinator, all the stuff, right? All these guys. Downing, Carter, all these guys. Hackett. And Zach, Aaron Rodgers. And Zach looks like he's progressing. But again, here we are. It's the same. It's uninspired football that cannot get into the end zone. It's really the trademark of Zach Wilson's career. Now, if it's everybody else's fault, maybe it is. But I maintain this. It's not that all of those things are not why the Jets ruined Zach Wilson's career and ruined any potential that this guy had. It's not starting him as a rookie that ruined him. Now, maybe he was never going to be anything. I don't know. Again, I didn't love the pick. But if he was going to be anything, you needed to have that, when we brought in Matt Cavanaugh to replace Greg Knapp, you saw throughout the year, once LaFleur went upstairs and Cavanaugh ran the sideline, you saw him start to settle down. The last 5 games of that year, he looked like that we all felt very hopeful going into 2021 or 22 because of the way he looked at the end of 2021. And that was, in my opinion, a lot to do with Cavanaugh being on the sideline, LaFleur designing the plays upstairs, and the whole thing. What do? We get rid of him. But once you identified that whatever development that was happening with, we got rid of Cavanaugh, so now it's just LaFleur and Calabrese, again, first-time quarterback coach, who knows what he is doing. So once we identified that whatever was happening isn't working, we fire LaFleur, keep Calabrese, and we decide to bring in a whole new offensive staff minus the quarterbacks coach. Once you decide you're going to keep this guy, we still think he's got a lot of talent. We don't like the way we handled it in the beginning. The Greg Knapp thing was much bigger than we gave it credit for. LaFleur needed to go. You've identified all the problems. Where they ruined Zach Wilson, again, disclaimer, who knows if he would have ever been anything. Where they blew any potential of this guy, this reset working, was Joe Douglas and probably Robert Saleh and the whole collective, the brain trust, decided 2 things. Really 3. Let's go through them. This is the 3 reasons why Zach Wilson was ruined by the Jets. I really should say Zach Wilson's reset was ruined by the New York Jets. These are the 3 reasons. Number 1, If you're going to have a reset for a quarterback, he should not be the number 2 quarterback. He shouldn't be the first guy off the bench. We said it all off season. Nobody listened to us again. Nobody ever listens to us. We've been here a long time, man. It's like you get a job as a director of a company, and yes, you're there, and you got all this plans and what you're going to do, and then there's a few people that have been there for 20 years. You don't want to ignore what they can tell you. You want to listen to those people. They've been around a long time. They've seen it. They've seen the ups and downs and all arounds. You want to listen and hear what they have to say. They've made it 20 years. They've been a long time. That's us. You might want to consider our opinions. We said, if you're going to do the reset, fine. Most of us, if not, let's just say half of us, didn't even want that to happen. But you decided it's more expensive to cut them than keep them. Great. Then you should have identified, we want to actually develop them this year. Put him as the QB3. And bring in an actual quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers go, and even before he got here, that's the plan. And what if, let's say the Aaron Rodgers thing blew up? At least you'd have Teddy Bridgewater or Minshew or Brissett or whoever the hell, whoever it was. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if we had just one name, Brissett, we'd have at least one more victory. At least one more victory. At least. There's no doubt in my mind. The Raiders. Let's just pull that game out. The Raiders. And it's not like Zach did anything to really win any of the other games. You know, he would limit the mistakes and he'd get a couple things done. But like, look at the Eagles game. The Eagles game, Zach was given 4 turnovers from the defense. 4 turnovers, man. So it's like you can't count on that every game. And a lot of them were in their territory. And we still would only get field goals. You know what I mean? So it's not like, Zach, but if you remove Zach from some of these games, but it's. So reason number 1 is they never got that viable backup quarterback. And they should have. And we knew it and we told them and they didn't listen. Number 2, when Aaron Rodgers went down, then you should have said, oh shit, I should have gotten a backup quarterback, and you should have been somebody should have been here before the sun rose the next day. Didn't happen. And then we waited a month and got Trevor Siemian, who's clearly not even good enough to beat out Tim Boyle for some reason. Who knows? But it's, look at the Vikings. They lost their quarterback, didn't skip a beat, man. Look at the Browns. They lost their quarterback. They're doing fine. They're winning games. The Vikings didn't skip a beat. Not us. We crumble to pieces. We are pulverized. Pulverized. Didn't bring in a backup quarterback from the get-go. And then once we lost QB1, we should have been scrambling for QB2. We were first up. We had choice, pick of the litter. Flacco, Wentz, whatever. Trade, Dobbs, whoever, man. You could have gotten somebody in here. Nope, we didn't do that. And then there's the offensive line. The offensive line, we went into this season depending on 2 guys in particular, but the whole mess. Dwayne Brown, who was out injured with a torn rotator cuff. He's 40 years old. He's 39 years old. He's coming back from that. We depended on him to be our starter at left tackle. Robert Saleh is on record saying things like he's going to be tough to beat out. Really? 38, 39 years old, coming off torn rotator cuff surgery. It's going to be tough to beat out? I didn't like that statement the second I heard it. And then Becton, who I'm rooting for Becton, liked the pick, think he's a stud. You can't depend. He hasn't played in 2 years. You got Max Mitchell, who had the blood clot thing. Who knows how that's impacting him, right? These are the guys. AVT's never finished a season yet. You bring in Wes Schweitzer and Cologne. That's what we did. So this offensive line, while you can't predict injuries, and sure, we've had a ton of bad luck, we pushed our luck. That's what we did. We pushed our luck. And the truth is, while I don't think Zach Wilson had very much of a chance of being an NFL level quarterback, he would have had to end up with Andy Reid. Maybe Kyle Shanahan, right? Who knows? But he would have had to end up with somebody like that in order for him to really turn around. But who knows? But let's say for a second that he could have. This sequence of events, particularly the reset, whatever else happened before that, he's had plenty of chances, plenty of legit opportunity, and he blew it. But this year, this reset, what we're doing, what we did with him, the refusal to take him out, the utter, whether that's Robert Saleh saying I can win with him, or if it's Joe Douglas saying, dude, this is what I got for you. Make it work. Who knows? Or if it's Woody saying, don't you dare pull out another penny for the quarterback. Who knows? Whatever the reason, we force-fed him out there. We have known for months that this guy should not be out there. We argued amongst ourselves. But now we know Zach is now the QB3 behind Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian. And his career is in jeopardy. And his Jets career, I have to say, is over. And that's our fault. And that's the intelligent gripe. So, yeah, guys, I don't know. You think we're going to win any more games? I don't know. Who? The Falcons? Maybe. The Texans? Hell no. No way, dude. No way. The Patriots? I don't know. At that point, if we're like, top 5 pick range, I don't even want to beat the Patriots. Why do it? Why? For what? For our egos? Who cares? Who cares? We took care of a couple of streaks this year. We beat the Eagles finally. We finally won a game after the bye. It's good enough. Or can this team, we're not numerically out of it. We end up 10-7. We run the table and we got something. Aaron Rodgers coming back. And the last thing I'll say to you, I used to be concerned about Aaron Rodgers coming back and ruining it and risking everything. I really don't care. If he wants to come back, come on back. Come on back, dude. With this offensive line, nothing to play for. You want to prove a point, prove your point. You're the greatest. You know what I mean? All right. I support it. I don't want him to get hurt. But if he's willing to risk it all, to come on back and show that he's not as bad as you think, or whatever the hell it is. He wants to be the oldest or the fastest back from the Achilles injury. Whatever, man. But if we can beat if we can win a game or two and then he comes back and we're kind of who knows? Maybe this is going to be a storybook season. Oh, from the heights to the depths, back to the heights. Could you imagine? What do you think of that? Let me know in the comments if you think there's a chance in the hell that we pull that one off. With that all said, guys, I'm glad you were here with me. It's rough. We got to stay together right now. I do love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments about all this jazz. With that all said, have a great week. And as always, go Jets.